Welcome to MojoTravels, and today we're counting down the top 10 underrated cities in Eastern Europe.
Are you a fan of our videos? Be sure to subscribe to MojoTravels and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we're looking at cities from across Eastern Europe that often go overlooked, but actually have tons to offer international travellers. Since the boundaries of Eastern Europe are often debated, we'll be including Central European nations that are culturally considered to be part of Eastern Europe. Number 10. KUTNÁ, Czech Republic. We begin our tour of Eastern Europe in the beautiful city of KUTNÁ. Though it might fly under the radar today, it was a massive economic importance in the 13th century. Today, the city's numerous iconic and historic buildings stand as a testament to KUTNÁ's past opulence. Among the city's biggest and most impressive attractions are the Church of St. Barbara and the St. James Church. For those with a touch of morbid curiosity, the Sedlet ossuary contains the skeletons of some 40,000 and 70,000 people. Don't be scared off by this popular but macabre tourist attraction though. The city as a whole is actually quite beautiful, especially the historic city centre. Other underrated cities to check out in the Czech Republic include Brno and Český Krumlov, the latter of which is located just a few hours from Prague. Number 9. Brașov, Romania. Though often overshadowed by the capital city of Bucharest, Brașov is not to be missed. Founded in 1211, the city is home to only about 250,000 people. With its generally relaxed attitude and quiet atmosphere, Brașov has the old-world charms that so many travellers are looking for in an Eastern European getaway. The city boasts a number of historic sites, including Catherine Gate and St. Nicholas Church, just to name a few, but also benefits from the beauty of the surrounding area. This includes Mount Tampa, which offers spectacular views of the city, especially in fall. Of course, no trip to Transylvania is complete without a nod to vampiric lore. As such, it's worth noting that Brașov is conveniently located just an hour away from Castle Bran, which has become intimately linked with the story of Dracula. Number 8. Bratislava, Slovakia. For whatever reason, this city doesn't get the love it deserves. In fact, the 2004 film Eurotrip presented it as backwards, decrepit, and riddled with crime. For travellers of a certain generation, this might be the only knowledge of Bratislava that they have. But it couldn't be further from the truth. Slovakia's capital city is gorgeous. It uniquely blends historic elegance with more modern touches for a travel experience full of surprises. The crown jewel of the city is without a doubt Bratislava Castle. Located on a rocky hilltop overlooking the city, the castle brings a fairy tale character to the city as a whole. While Bratislava might not get as many tourists as it deserves, there are few historic centres this remarkable that remain so pleasantly uncrowded. Number 7. Tallinn, Estonia. A country that's also majorly overlooked, Estonia is well worth the plane ticket. Boasting beautiful wilderness and ample opportunity for adventure, it's a nature lover's dream. Peace and quiet are never hard to find, but even when you venture into the capital of Tallinn, the absence of mass tourism can still be felt. When you visit Tallinn, you're really immersing yourself in the local culture and customs. Given the land's complicated history, it borrows from Denmark, Sweden, Germany, Russia, Lithuania, Latvia, and Finland. Add to that its own local traditions and you've got a culture that's really unique to Estonia. As you navigate the charming city, especially its UNESCO World Heritage Old Town, you're sure to be utterly enchanted by the medieval churches and winding streets. Don't let all the history fool you though, the dining is modern and first-rate. Number 6. Gdansk, Poland. There are a number of cities in Poland that do quite well for themselves in terms of tourism. Warsaw and Krakow are both popular destinations, and Wrocław, though less of a household name, has become a widely recommended stopover for anyone exploring the country. Gdansk, not so much. But give it a few years and we suspect that travellers will be flocking to this remarkable city in northern Poland. Located along the Baltic coast in Pomerania, Gdansk suffered a lot of damage in World War II, but the old town has been rebuilt with a real eye for detail. What makes this city such an underrated gem is the fact that it feels so culturally distinct from the rest of Poland. Its status as a port city made it a hub for cultural exchange for years, and those far-reaching influences can be felt all through Gdansk. From beer gardens and cafes to shopping and history tours, this city is a delight. Number 5. Szeged, Hungary. When we say Hungary, what comes to mind? Our guess is that you're going to say Budapest. And in all fairness, Budapest really should be on your itinerary. Between landmarks like St. Stephen's Basilica and the wild nightlife, Hungary's vibrant capital city lives up to the hype. But if you're looking for something a bit more untarnished by the tourist industry, you really need to check out the city of Szeged. With a population of only about 160,000 people, Szeged is roughly a tenth of the size of Budapest, but it packs in a ton of charm and character. From its abundance of green space to the sleepy cafes and thermal baths, Szeged makes you feel at home. As a university town, however, it's also got a strong sense of identity and is never short of cultural events. If you're interested in heading off of the beaten path in Hungary, the cities of Pécs and Debrecen should both be added to your itinerary. Number 4. Lviv, Ukraine. It might sound a lot like the country's capital, Kyiv, but Lviv is cut from a very different cloth. With about a quarter of the population, Lviv is the second largest city in Ukraine. A major cultural centre, Lviv is certainly not short on noteworthy attractions. Major sites include the Lviv Theatre of Opera and Ballet, Potocki Palace, Dormition Church, and the Church of Saints Olha and Elizabeth, just to name a few. It more than earns its UNESCO status. While much of Eastern Europe was transformed by the aesthetic of the Soviet Union, Lviv's architecture remains distinctly old world. As you navigate the cobblestone streets, stop for a coffee and take a time to soak it all in. Lviv is starting to catch on with international travellers though, so we recommend moving fast before the crowds arrive. Number 3. ZADAR, Croatia. We know what you're thinking. Croatia is not underrated. In recent years, it's become one of Europe's most popular destinations. The thing is, the vast majority of travellers overwhelmingly head to Dubrovnik and never really venture beyond the city limits, let alone to another city. Some people have made the trip inland to the country's capital of Zagreb, which is well worth checking out. Split is another great option. Zadar, however, is perhaps Croatia's best kept secret. It's the oldest continuously inhabited city in the country, and given its location right on the Adriatic Sea and the beautiful architecture, it almost feels like a miniature Dubrovnik, minus the crowds. Roman ruins, sunset views, medieval churches, Zadar is modest in size, but it's a great crash course in Croatian culture. Number 2. Riga, Latvia. Often dismissed as a stopover for travellers on their way to somewhere else, Riga rarely gets the attention it deserves. Leave the airport, however, and you'll quickly realise that this is a destination in its own right, and a memorable one at that. Worth a visit year-round, the Latvian capital is beautiful in both summer and winter, transforming from a city rich in green space to a winter wonderland. The narrow streets, lined with quaint shops, make you feel as if you've been transported into a storybook, any time of year. While the architecture might feel historic, once you immerse yourself in Riga, you discover a surprisingly vibrant and progressive city. From trendy bars and edgy restaurants to the city's museums and local art scene, Riga manages to pack a ton of experiences into a relatively small city. Number 1. Belgrade, Serbia. This city has a reasonable amount of name recognition, but for the most part that stems from a long, complex and sometimes brutal history, including the famous World War II Belgrade offensive and the terrible Bosnian War. The fact remains that when most people think about their next big vacation, Serbia is not often a country at the top of their list. But the capital city of Belgrade can compete with the most iconic cities of Eastern Europe in terms of culture and historic sites. The city is an architectural patchwork of Soviet-era construction, remnants of the Ottoman Empire, modern design, and more. From Belgrade Castle to the waterfront, coffee houses, and nightlife, this city offers a bit of everything. Plus, it's worth noting that Belgrade is among the most affordable destinations on our list.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MojoTravels, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.